least, I always want to encourage our community partners to volunteer in our schools. There is a volunteer opportunity in the Whites Creek Cluster. We're having our Whites Creek Cluster Fest on April the 10th. And then we will also have several activities taking place at Alex Green Design Technology Magnet School. And so we want to make sure that you're aware of those opportunities to volunteer. Please reach out to the school and they'll get you connected. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. District 2.
Thank you. MNPS art and music camps open this week. Those are very popular and seats go quickly. So I just want to make sure that families and all of us are aware in case we get questions about that. At Overton, the Evolve weapons detection system went out on the 18th. It was implemented at our school in District 2, and it went quite well. There's been lots of feedback from the principal about how it's been pretty smooth, but that it has taken place. And then lastly, I wanted to make sure that we're all aware the Chamber's Ed report, the Chamber of Commerce's Ed report was rescheduled, and it has been moved to March 28th from 9:30 to 12, and it's at Geodis. So the date is quite different than usual, as is the location. So just to make sure everyone is aware, as that can be a crowded event at times. Thank you.
Thank you. District 3.
Pass.
District 5. District 6.
Sure. So sorry, I was typing. So just two things. The Antioch Health and Wellness Fair will be held Saturday, March 29th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Lake Providence Church at 5891 Nolensville Pike. I will post this information on my social media pages, and you'll be able to find it in multiple languages. Also, just a reminder that to all rising high school juniors, the application process to select our next student school board member, those applications are open now until 5 p.m. on April 30th. The applications are available on the MNPS website under the Board of Education tab. If you or someone you know is interested in becoming our next student school board member, those applications, as I said, are available now through April 30th at 5 p.m. So go ahead and get those applications submitted as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. District 7.
No.
District 8.
We're about to have a celebration of the Hillsborough boys basketball team for winning states. So I'm so excited and can't wait to congratulate them. But also wanted to say that they beat Oak Ridge, which is where my husband went to high school. And so my children and I will have something to lord over him for life, and we are very excited about that. So way to go, Burros.
District 9.
Just a reminder that Promising Scholars, if you're looking for summer information, Promising Scholars is open for registration, and also rising juniors and seniors can apply for jobs through the MNPS career-based learning program, earn up to $15 an hour. It's really exciting. They get high school credit, they get career skills, and they also get mentorship. So I've shared it on my social medias already, but you can look on MNPS's or mine. It's a really exciting opportunity.
Junior school board member.
I believe I have no announcements. I will be saving the scope conference for board reports. Thank you.
Senior school board member.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone had a good break. I first wanted to congratulate the Lawson debaters, Ethan Oakley and Chaz Covington, for winning the city championships. And they, along with me and my partner, will be on our way to nationals next week. So that's exciting. I also wanted to tell everyone about the debate summer camp for grades 6 through 12 at John Early Middle School. It will be July 14th through 18th. And it is free, but you have to pay a $25 deposit that you'll get back. But I highly encourage anyone in those grades, if you're interested in debate at all, to try it out, because it'll probably be really fun. And that's all.
Awesome. And Board Member Tyler covered a couple of things related to Promising Scholar as well as the workplace opportunities for high school students. I did want to follow up. I had a visit this last week with Tulip Grove Elementary School that's in District 4 in my area. It was a great visit, great community elementary school. If you live in the area, check it out. It's a phenomenal school, and it was a wonderful visit. So just want to thank Dr. Jackson for inviting me in and showing me around. Thank you. Be there no further announcements. This meeting is adjourned.
I call this meeting to order. Members, will I have President Jessica Stewart give us the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know she was going to do this to me. Hi. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Jessica Stewart is the president of SEIU Local 205. I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda. I request that we move item 1D off of the agenda, the naming of Brick Church Middle School. Is there a motion?
So
Motion to
moved.
approve with removal of 1D.
Second.
Yes. All in favor of the, to adoption of the agenda? All in, Say it again? Yes, we were adopting the entire agenda. So motion to approve the agenda as moved. Okay. Motion to approve the agenda as moved has been motioned by Member Mays. It's been seconded by Dr. Nabalin Kinney. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll hand over to Dr. Battle for awards and recognitions.
Thank you so much, Chair Player. I am going to jump into awards and recognitions. I'll do them a little bit out of order from what's listed on the agenda, but I will cover everything. The first thing I'd like to do, because we do have some special guests in the audience today regarding an agenda item later on in the agenda, I would like to take a point of privilege to acknowledge the family of Judge Dinkins, who we will be voting on, a final vote today, to rename Brick Church Middle School, again, after Judge Richard H. Dinkins. We have several of his family members here that I'd like to recognize. If you all don't mind standing as I call your names, his daughter, LaShanta Simpkins is here. His daughter, Zuri Walker, is also here, and his son, Ian Dinkins. We just wanted to take an opportunity to just thank you all. Again, the board will talk about this later, but we really wanted to honor your father, your grandfather, just for the entire family, his legacy and his work that he led on behalf of Metro Nashville Public Schools. And so it is our honor to take up this vote later today to officially rename one of our middle schools in his honor. So thank you for being here. If everyone could please give them a warm thank you and welcome. All right, so we'll be looking forward to that vote later. I also want to take an opportunity to thank the Save the Music Foundation and recording and music artist Brittany Spencer for visiting John Overton High School today. She spent quite a bit of time with our talented students at Overton High School. I see lots of faces light up. Y'all know who Brittany Spencer is. She is well on her way and has a beautiful voice and just a great musician. She took really quality time out of her day today to not only perform for our students, but they were able to perform for her and get some really quality feedback along with some other very notable artists from our community, several of them. And so just really excited. Again, shout out to Principal Kerry Garner, who's the principal there, Mr. Barner, who is one of the music teachers at Overton High School, to Franklin Willis, our Director of Visual and Performing Arts. These are experiences that kids everywhere not afforded every day. So we're extremely, extremely thankful to Save the Music, Brittany, and the entire team who pulled this off today. All right, so things have changed. So I'm going to get back in order. Again, another just quick announcement. Today, I also had the opportunity to meet with Coach Jeff Fisher and the arena football team, the Nashville Cats, who came by the support hub in this space and delivered 100 tickets for each of our high school athletic departments so the student athletes and coaches can go to their home opener this Saturday or their second home game a week from Friday. So we greatly appreciate the Cats' generosity and their support of our student athletes. They shared with me many, many times that they are looking to partner with us in many, many more ways. So we are very thankful for them, and we'll be getting those tickets out to our high schools via our athletic director, Mr. Mark North, really soon. So thank you to the Cats and to Jeff Fisher for their partnership. And speaking of which, we have so many impressive and high-achieving students and staff members to celebrate this evening, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. So first, Board Member Black tried to steal the thunder, but she deserves to steal the thunder. No. This first one happened, y'all, just less than 72 hours ago, which was after we had put together the meeting agenda last week. But we simply could not wait another meeting to recognize our outstanding boys basketball state champions, Hillsborough High School. All right, as they come up holding that heavy but beautiful gold ball. So the Burrows brought home the gold ball Saturday night after beating Oak Ridge to wrap up a dominating performance throughout the state class 4A tournament in Murfreesboro. They are the best. They are history makers, and we couldn't be happier for Coach T, all the players, Principal Holdren, and everyone connected to the team. And I want to give a special shout out to the tournament MVP. Is Tyron Fisher with us right now? He's all right. We'll recognize him again. So we brought home the gold ball MVP, Tyron Fisher, who led the tournament in rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, as well as 3 other Hillsborough players who made the all-tournament team. Cortez Graham Howard, who was also a Class 4A Mr. Basketball finalist this season, Xavier Washington, and Lonnie Holland. And Jalen Hurd and Max Burtner were both tremendous in the championship game, on Saturday. We are so proud of everyone on the team for representing our district and our city so well, both on and off the court. Thank you for the example of excellence you set. I was so glad I got to be there and see you in action last week. And then at the celebration on campus after you got home from the championship game, y'all did not want to go home. It was a celebration. And I'm thrilled that we can all recognize you here tonight. So it is my complete honor, again, to present to MNPS and to Nashville, our champions, Hillsborough High School. I know they're busy people now, so they've got to run after this recognition to get to the next. But we know we have our all-city banquet happening this evening. So again, let's congratulate them in grand style, and we would like for you to pause before you leave so we can get a couple photos. Let's give it up for them.
One, two, three. One more. One, two, three. Good job. That's awesome. Congratulations.
All right.
Now you know why I wore my green dress.
That's right. And just for the history books, it's the first time MNPS has brought home the state championship in the large class since 1981. So that drought is over. All right, so tonight we're also thrilled to recognize 15 students who were recently honored by the National Education Equity Lab for their great work during the fall semester. The National Education Equity Lab is an organization we started working with last year to provide college courses from prestigious universities in our high schools. Ed Equity Lab believes what I believe, that academic talent is spread evenly across our schools, and we just need to make sure we're spreading the opportunities for our students around as well. So, through Ed Equity Lab, we've had professors from Stanford, Howard, Spelman, Morehouse, Cornell, Georgetown, Arizona State, and the University of Pennsylvania teaching our students in partnership with our own excellent educators. And these 15 students were recently inducted into the Ed Equity Lab National Honor Society for outstanding work in their courses last fall. In just a moment, I'm going to turn the mic over to Michael Cass from our Communications Department to call out the names. Students, when you hear your names, please come up to the area right here in front of the board table to get your certificate. For me and the respective board member, please come on up, and we'll get a group photo at the end. So, Michael, give me just a second to transition, and you can take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. From Antioch High School, let's give it up for Marvin Padilla. From Cane Ridge High School, we're excited to recognize Leandra Davis. From East Nashville Magnet High School, we have 3 outstanding scholars who were inducted. Kamani Cockrell, Delano Carney, and Jemiah Horton. From Hunters Lane High School, let's give it up for Zoja Williams. From John Overton High School, we recognize 3 top students: Colton Bork, Emily Monasterio, and Kyla Sayal. From Maplewood High School, let's give it up for Janet Nino Martinez, and Ling O. From Nashville Big Picture High School, we're proud to recognize Eder Gomez. And from Stratford STEM Magnet High School, we're excited to recognize 3 top scholars: Bernice Rodriguez, Isioma Ikile, and Miracle Newby.
Everybody back together. We're going to do one big group photo. Join us. One, two, three. Thank you. We got here. We got here. So here's the thing. All right, and I just want to make sure I'm extremely clear that we understand what they've just accomplished. These students performed at the highest levels while enrolled in college level courses while in high school, credits that will transfer to their college transcripts. So, in all of these prestigious universities and colleges. So again, congratulations. That is very significant. It's huge and it's something you should be extremely proud of. All right, tonight we're also excited to recognize 8 high school wrestlers from across the district, 4 girls and 4 boys, who won medals at the recent TSSAA State Championship. These student athletes have excelled in a tough sport in which the outcome can flip in a split second. So we want to make sure they know how much we appreciate their hard work and the way they represent all of us on and off the mat. I'd like for our high school athletics director, Mark North, to call out the wrestlers' names. Students, when you hear your name, please come join me and our board chair up front to get your certificate, and then we'll get a group photo at the end. Mark North.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you to the board for recognizing excellence, and it's a great honor for me to introduce these outstanding student athletes. First up, from East Nashville Magnet High School, we have Callie Summers, the medalist, the 114-pound weight class. From McGavock High School, we recognize Addison Brown in the 100-pound weight class. And also, Haley Cox in the 138-pound weight class. She is the 2024 state champion and a 3-time state medalist. Haley. McGavock. Yeah, still from McGavock. From Pearl Cone High School, LaCuria Kelly, who finishes the state runner-up and is a 2-time state medalist.
The Firebirds.
From James Lawson High School, we have Timothy Williams, medalist in the 126-pound weight class. All right, and we have 2 more from McGavock High School. First up, the 285-pound weight class, Elijah Sumler.
These are from McGavock.
And also from McGavock, Finishing third in the state in the 113-pound weight class, Emmanuel Claybrooks. It is his second state medal. And we have one wrestler who is unable to be here tonight from Stratford STEM Magnet High School. We're proud to recognize Demorius Ford, who medaled in the 138-pound. Okay. We're ready for a group picture. You want the coaches as well?
Coaches and principal. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Where is yours?
Well, congratulations again to our high school wrestling medalists. They were chatting up here. They're very competitive about everything. So I know the future is bright for our wrestling teams. They've got some goals. So tonight, we also want to recognize a couple of staff members, particularly from Antioch High School, for their heroism. January 22nd was a difficult day, but these staff members were especially bright lights in the darkness with their actions to prevent further harm. So tonight, we like to give a special recognition to this pair of heroes. First is Gwendolyn Pirtle. Ms. Pirtle ensured the safety of several students and cafeteria staff by promptly closing the cafeteria gates. Additionally, she sheltered several students in the cafeteria pantry, where she provided social and emotional learning support, keeping many students calm amid the crisis. Ms. Pirtle, where are you? Could you stand up for us, please? We'd like to thank you for your quick and calm thinking and for the care you showed to each of those vulnerable students that morning. We greatly appreciate you. And in a moment, we want you to come up and we want to get some pictures with you and just celebrate you even further. Thank you. We also want to recognize Muhammad Sindi. Mr. Sindi played a crucial role as well in assisting with the evacuation of students from the cafeteria, ensuring they exited safely. He demonstrated exceptional leadership and composure, guiding students to safety and providing reassurance during a highly stressful situation. Mr. Sindi, thank you. Thank you for making... Mr. Cindy, thank you for making sure students were safe and for helping them stay calm in the midst of very difficult circumstances. We had an opportunity to speak, and Mr. Cindy told me, I wasn't afraid. I had to do what was necessary to protect our children. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to both of you. Also want to take a moment to thank Principal Nikisha Burnett for her ongoing leadership. We've come a long way in these last 2 months, but we know there's still a way to go in this journey. And I appreciate every one of the team for their good work and for their resilience. So please help me in welcoming up Ms. Pirtle, Mr. Cindy, and Principal Burnett so that we can acknowledge them and take a quick photo together. Thank you both.
She's been asked if she was okay.
So as we transition, and I'd be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank the entire faculty and staff of Antioch High School, the entire community, the city, everyone for rallying to support this journey that the school community is on. We know that everyone played a critical role on this particular day, including our students who are just doing exceptionally well in so many ways. Please know that we will continue to stand with you. We will continue to support you for the long haul. So again, thank you to the entire school community. So recently we had a reception for our Team MNPS members who have served the district for 30, 40, and 50 and even 30, 40, and even 50 years. We want to recognize them and thank them for their service again tonight by showing their names on the screens and asking any of them who are here with us to please stand so we can applaud you for all the great work and your commitment to our students, families, and staff.
We started after college. Much.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. So thank you again to our long-serving staff members. We appreciate your dedication. We appreciate your service to Metro Nashville Public Schools. We also want to just thank everyone else who was recognized tonight. A big night for awards and recognitions. Thank you, Board, for allowing us an opportunity to recognize not only our staff members, but our students and our partners during this time of our board agenda. So with that, Chair Player, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Battle. What an awesome time to be a part of MNPS. And thank you for everyone for their accomplishments and more importantly, their service to our children and our education system. Now we'll move on to Director's Report with Grow Together with MNPS.
All right, thank you, Chair Player. I appreciate you turning it over to me for the director's report. As we know, our district has been hard at work, really accelerating outcomes for our students. During our budget committee, we celebrated all of the significant achievements for our students, including being a 3-time level 5 school district, being considered an advancing school district, being represented in the top performers in the Education Recovery Scorecard, celebrating historic graduation rates, just lots of accolades and accomplishments for our students who are supported by some of the most effective educators this country can find. We also know that that work doesn't just happen in those respective grades, right? It takes a true plan and a runway for all of our students to have what they need and what they deserve. And so this evening, we're going to hear an update around our Grow Together with the MNPS signature initiative, which reaches back and really encompasses our youngest learners of Nashville and future MNPS students and current MNPS students. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our to Deputy Dr. David Williams and also to our Director, Lori Flemings, in just a moment. So David, I'll let you take it away.
Great. Thanks so much, Dr. Battle. Good evening, board members. We are, again, pleased to provide you with an update on our Grow Together work that we began just a few years ago, as well as some exciting updates that we have in the works that we're working on. As we get started, just some brief reminders about why we believe that it's important to work in this birth to 3 space. So first of all, we know that a young child's brain is growing and developing rapidly. As many as 1 million neural connections are being made every second. Because of this, they're ready to absorb and learn new and exciting things. And we also want to help Nashville families with young children access important resources and information to ensure they're providing a strong foundation for long-term life success for their children. As former board member and chair, Dr. Gentry said when the late Phyllis Phillips and I presented this in the fall of 2022, I think she summed it up nicely. She said something to the effect of, and I'm not trying to quote her here, after you have helped pull enough folks out of the river, at some point you have to go upstream and work to prevent them from falling in the river in the first place. So I think that sums up the reason why we're doing this work really well. And we also want to connect with families, lean in to support them where we can, and we want them to see themselves as part of our MNPS family. So here's a brief timeline of some key milestones since we began this work in the spring of 22. So with Dr. Battle's initial vision, that spring our teams met and identified some of our core strategies. These core strategies continue to drive our work today. Again, as we presented to the board in the fall of 2022, you'll see that here on the screen as well. Next, shortly after that presentation, we launched our website, which is full of information and resources, including events to register for, community events. You can register for our quarterly Grow Together newsletter and more. And our communications team has helped to design a page that is beautiful, organized, and easy for families to navigate, and even more than that, because our website allows translation into our several top languages spoken, it's more widely accessible to more families. Director Fleming is going to talk about our Access for All classrooms and our half-day programs later in the presentation. We launched those in the fall of 2023. I'm also excited to share and give a little demonstration about our care bag distribution, another exciting one of our strategies you see here that we're able to launch last spring. And then, of course, the work continues where we are today and beyond. Our Grow Together initiatives are divided into two parts: the birth to three space and then pre-K expansion. Each of these two parts has 5 core strategies. So I'm going to lead the presentation, updating us in the birth to three space with those 5 core strategies. And then Director Fleming, seated behind me, will provide an update on pre-K expansion and the new exciting thing that we're working on. So first is our website. Well, let me go through these. These are our 5 strategies. First, we have our Grow Together website, play dates and child development courses, a text messaging service, family care bags, and then home and televisits. So the first thing you can see is our website. This was launched again shortly after our board presentation in the fall of 2022, launched in January 2023. Again, it's a beautiful page within our larger MNPS site. Anyone watching live or anyone in the audience who wants to take out your phone, you can access through the QR code directly to our early learning birth to 3 Grow Together website. We also have the opportunity there for you to register to receive the quarterly newsletter. I personally receive it, as does my wife, because we have a young child. And again, this is free. Just go on there, register. It's quick and easy. Currently, we have over 300 families signed up, but we encourage anyone listening, this might be appropriate and relevant for, to encourage you to sign up as well. We also have our play dates and child development courses. One thing that was important for us was to ensure that once we launched our initiative is to immediately begin working with community partners to identify where some of this work is already happening. So we didn't want to be duplicative or redundant in that space, but maybe we could help accelerate their efforts or expand their efforts. So with play dates and child development courses, this is an example of where we partner with the public library, who does host play dates and story times at branch libraries across the city. And we've been able to join forces with them, if you will, to come alongside them and share additional information about MNPS, about our Grow Together program, and provide free books that they can take home. And we've served over 300 families in that space. We've also partnered with Hispanic Family Foundation, their Sprouts program, and community baby shower events. I'll also talk about that here in a minute. And we've reached out and connected with over 500 families through those partnerships. Also, we have a text messaging service. You may have heard a program called Ready for K, Ready for Kindergarten. The state launched this several years ago. That has since been sunset by the state, but we've been able to internally continue to provide that for our preschool and pre-kindergarten families. Families receive 2 to 3 text messages a week, gives them friendly tips. You're going to the playground, things to do when you're going shopping, things you can do with common household items, reminders of key registration dates or events, community events that they may want to sign up for and participate. We would like to extend that service beyond our preschool and pre-kindergarten families into our birth to 3 families that we connect with. We do think that working with our current employees who have young kids that might want to sign up for the service, our partners, siblings of our current preschool and pre-kindergarten families, think we have a good core base of families that we could connect with. And our goal would be to exceed over 1,000 families that would sign up for this service in the birth to 3 space. But then again, that is included as part of our aspirational budget that Chief Robles mentioned earlier. So here's an example of our quarterly newsletter that I mentioned. Again, free to sign up. It's available again in English, Spanish, Arabic. This is what it looks like. It's actually English, Spanish, Arabic going left to right on the screen. So you can see what that looks like. Again, laid out really well, graphically appealing, visually appealing, lots of great information. For example, the winter newsletter came right around after the snow day, things you can do when it snows with your child at home. So really timely and relevant information there. Our next core strategy was to distribute care bags. This is, again, one of our 5 strategies in the birth to 3 space. Really excited about this. We distributed, starting last spring, a little over 200 care bags at the Hispanic Family Foundation Community Baby Shower. And that was to new or expectant or recent new moms. Also distributed over 100 care bags through community partners, the Matthew Walker Community Baby Shower, other events around town, the AMAC Community Health Fair and Nashville Public Library events. I do want to acknowledge that we received funding originally from PNC to get our initial wave of our care bags out to families. Again, you can see over 300 families that we reached that way. We also have included this in our model school grant with the state, so we can continue to fund that. And again, our goal is to increase our distribution by 30% this year. So I'm going to pause here for just a second. I do have a little show and tell. When we talk about care bags, this is not just any old bag, okay? This is a nice bag. There is a phone charging port on the side. It's not self-powered, though. I will say that. A growth chart for your child if you're like me and you don't like to mark your walls at the house. A bib, a grow together bib. I'm ready for the oohs and the ahs now. A little onesie. Little onesie. I don't know if my son would ever have fit into that. Some books, because what family doesn't want books, and the high contrast books that are great for newborns. There's some other goodies in here. We do have outlet covers, because everyone knows you need outlet covers. Again, they're branded with our Grow Together logo. And then this is an informational postcard. So this is kind of the key to tie it together. Tells the families about our initiative. We want their feedback. And then there's QR codes where they can, again, access once they go to the website. That's how they can register for other events. And then we have a way to keep track of them and follow up with them. So there's postcards including there. Other things in there, I'm not going to go through everything, but I think you get the idea. There's a changing pad in here. And I think once your child grows up, you may still want to use this bag for other things. It's high quality. We'll hold up. So the final aspect, the final core strategy here for our birth to 3 space is the home and televisits. And this was, as you can understand, a core strategy right when we were coming out of COVID. And again, working with our partners, we didn't want to be duplicative in this space, but we have identified 3 community partners that do offer home and televisits. Again, they are listed on our Grow Together website with the direct link. So the family is interested in accessing that resource, they can go on, click that link. It will take you right to that community partner. Nashville Strong Babies, Nurses for Newborns, and then Nurture the Next are 3 that we have identified through Davidson County that provide this service to our families. With that concludes the updates for our birth to 3. I'm going to turn over to Director Fleming to go through pre-K expansion.
Thank you, Chief Williams. Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to talk to you guys about our pre-K expansion. I stand in front of you as a proud MNPS graduate and also soon to be 4 children graduating from MNPS May 16th. I'm really not counting down, y'all. But I'm very excited. So for our pre-K expansion, so care bag events. Of course, we always want to document when we go out. So these are some of our places where we did distribute the care bags. They were great. The families loved them, and especially at the Hispanic Family Foundation, Plaza Mariachi, they paraded them out, and it was sort of like a great show and tell. So it was really wonderful to be able to participate in that. And in the corner, we have Matthew Walker, and that's where we participated and distributed quite a few care bags as well. All right, so I'm going to talk to you guys about the 5 core strategies for pre-K expansion, our half-day program for preschool 3-year-old students, including more students with IEPs in our gen ed classrooms, increasing our pre-K classrooms, creating an early learning hub, and then supporting transitions from pre-K to K. So for our pre-K expansion strategy for our half-day program for 3-year-old students, we did pilot this in 23-24 at Ross Early Learning Center. The preference for families was for the AM session. This school year, we opened up the half-day program to families across the district who were seeking that type of program for their children. And then for the upcoming school year, we will be moving the program to the southeast area of town to J.E. Moss and A.Z. Kelly, adapting our model to where our student growth is in the city. Students who participate in the half-day program do have the option of remaining on the wait list for a full-day program as seats become available. Our second strategy is including more students with IEPs in our Gen Ed classrooms. This is our Access for All program. And so Access for All allows us to serve more students with IEPs in our Gen Ed classrooms. Before, in a typical classroom of 20 pre-K students, we would have 18 Gen Ed students with 2 students with IEPs. With Access for All, we're able to serve 4 students with IEPs along with 16 Gen Ed seats in a classroom of 20. This gives our students an opportunity to be in a more inclusive environment, least restrictive, learning, working, growing, collaborating with their peers. The numbers on the screen show where we started in 2023, 2024 when we piloted. And then upon the 2025-2026 school year, we will have 160 students with IEPs that we have included in our Gen Ed program. This model replicates what takes place in our K through 12 classrooms across the district. Our next strategy is increasing pre-K classrooms. So this school year, we currently have 180 classrooms across 65 school sites. With the opening of Percy Priest, we're going to have our first pre-K program at Percy Priest in 2025-2026, and that will give us 66 sites with 182 classrooms. For the upcoming school year, that means that 87% of our elementary schools will now have a pre-kindergarten program for families, and this is in addition to our 4 early learning centers. We're also excited and planning to add a new early learning center in the Hillwood High School building. Pending an award of capital funding, it will take approximately 12 to 18 months to retrofit that space to be in compliance for early learning classrooms. The wait list in that area does support this proposal. The addition of the Hillwood Early Learning Center will enable MNPS to have an early learning center in all quadrants of the city. Our next strategy is to create an early learning hub. So the proposal is to build a demonstration hub. And within this demonstration hub, we would house infant, toddler, preschool, pre-K classrooms for employees, on-site training, as well as behind-the-glass observational capabilities. This space would also house the space for our early learning department. This proposal would require capital funding, but it will also provide an opportunity for our very own MNPS high school students who have a passion for working with children to volunteer, to do an internship, to gain experience in this pathway. It's a great opportunity for this district to springboard them to pursue their interest in education, and we want to cultivate that spark for our students. Our next strategy is supporting transitions from pre-K to K. So our 2024 kindergarten readiness fair that we had last spring was phenomenal. We were able to double the amount of fair attendees, the services that were provided over the 2023-2024 school year. Our next fair, coming up soon, April the 5th, Lentz Health Center, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All the cool people are going to be there, so y'all need to come join us. You gonna be there? Okay, I'm gonna look for you. So we're really excited about that. We're also working on Kindergarten Preview Day, and this has been expanded to 2 sites we did in the summer of 2024. We plan to have 5 schools participate in Kindergarten Preview for summer 2025, and planning is already underway with those principals. We're also streamlining kindergarten registration through our Parent Portal campaign. And this is to increase the number of MNPS pre-K parents who are registered to the Parent Portal to streamline their kindergarten registration experience. When we started the campaign in the fall of 2023, we were able to increase the number of registrations by 110%. So we're currently in the K registration season, and we're encouraging our pre-K families to register for the portal as we speak. This allows them to become engaged with our district in a way that will follow them up through 12th grade. They'll be able to follow attendance, grades, assessments through the use of the portal. We also worked with Raising Readers Nashville to promote and work on a kindergarten readiness community navigator pilot program. We had several MNPS employees who served on Action Team 2 to help bring this to fruition. Volunteers were trained to provide information on kindergarten readiness, how to register for kindergarten, and these volunteers also went out into community events to provide informational tables at daycares and other community events and sites. There are some of our pictures from the Kindergarten Readiness Fair. We got school mascots. Lots of people come out. We had a school bus experience. The read aloud on the school bus, the transportation group, they do a great job with encouraging families about transportation, having them come on the bus, asking any questions. It is a great time to be had by all. So our next thing that we're really excited about, MNPS employee childcare. Grow Together Academy at MNPS. The planning stages for this started in fall 2024. Employee childcare would initially be offered to children 11 months up to 3 years of age, and we want to utilize an existing MNPS school site. We want to reach our MNPS employee families at this early stage. We know that there is a need for childcare across our city. We also see this as a way to attract and retain quality teaching staff, and of course, create a pipeline for our preschool and pre-K programs. We want MNPS to be the first choice for our MNPS employees, for their children, engaging them early, and then matriculating into our elementary schools and beyond. So as we began planning, we leaned in on the expertise of our construction and planning department to get some information and some numbers as to what that would look like for an initial build out for opening 4 classrooms. And as you will see on the screen, there are several things that are needed to start the employee child care. And then as we look at what that would mean for us, we want to look at we're considering operational costs as well. Costs would be per child. We want to take in consideration the cost of child care in areas around the area. We also know that we need to be competitive so that it is indeed a benefit for our employees. So this would be a capital budget request, and you'll see the timeline that has been supplied by construction and planning. And then once capital funding is awarded, the design and construction would take 10 to 12 months overall to complete the project. And then at the bottom of the screen, because we are always looking to expand our reach, it would be an additional $872,000 to take 3 classrooms to convert it into 2 classrooms for employee childcare, because there are some support storage spaces that have to go along with that. So we're really excited about this. We've been planning and looking toward the future to be able to offer something else for our teaching staff. So how can the board support? Please support our request for capital funding. Sign up for Grow Together newsletter. Encourage others to do so also. Community events. Advocate for community involvement and support our efforts for our Grow Together through college and career. We want to make our imprint from 0 all the way up to college. And with that, I will turn it back over to Dr. Battle.
All right, thank you so much, David and Lori. We appreciate this wonderful update around Grow Together with MNPS. I will turn it back over to our chair to entertain any questions.
Are there any questions or comments? Chair Mays.
Thank you for that report. I just want to encourage my colleagues, if you have an opportunity on April 5th, please go to the pre-K fair. The best time I had is watching little ones who had never experienced being on a school bus experience that for the first time. They didn't want to get off. They thought the bus was going to go with them that day. It was the most fun that you will ever experience. So if you have an opportunity, please go.
Member Young?
Thank you, Chair. The capital request for for our own academy, I see the number of classrooms, but do we know like an estimated, what would that capacity be as far as how many students of children of employees would we be able to serve?
Yes, sir. Great question. Our initial build out to do the conversion, it takes 3 existing classrooms the way they are designed now. It takes 3 classrooms to convert to 2. It's a 3-to-2 ratio. But our initial plan would be to have 4 classrooms that we would serve. And that gets us between 45 and 50 children that we'll be able to serve in those 4 classrooms.
And then as far as backtracking to the first part of your presentation, as we're reaching out to folks with young children, are we making sure that we're trying to maybe connect with adoption agencies or other sort of way? I mean, I guess I want to make sure that we're touching all parents that maybe are coming into parenthood in a non-traditional fashion, especially for a lot of my friends. That's how they choose to become parents. And I just want to make sure we're not leaving them out as we're like making that outreach.
Yeah, I appreciate that that question and concern. Go ahead, Laura. You look like you're leaning in. Oh, no. No, I appreciate that. We'll make special note. And because of that question, I want to point out, I know she's very shy, but she's in the back, Marichelle Bonifacio. She is our community outreach coordinator for kindergarten readiness, and she spearheads a lot of this work.
Great.
So I know that that's probably already on her radar.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not shy anymore.
So many board meetings. Yeah, so we have not really looked into that, and that's a great point to look, adoption agencies. So we will put that on our list.
Sure.
Especially if you have recommendations, please let us know.
I will reach out to some of my friends and see, because that's not something I've explored, but I know that's a growing number of families. That's how they choose to become families. And I want to make sure that we're including them in this mix.
We definitely do.
Thank you.
All right, Member Elrod?
Thanks. I think that's a great suggestion, Zach. We went through that process many years ago, and so there's a lot of families I think you could reach there, and it's definitely a part of the home check and everything else that you have to do. So I think all those additional classes would be super helpful. I have a lot of questions. I'm sorry, I've run out of water as well. But early childhood education is probably my special interest, if you will, within education. So I'm going to start from probably where we ended and go forward so I can go through the presentation where I've written my notes. My first question that I have is on slide 18, the 2.5 million, is that for capital only? Or is that including operating? I thought I heard somebody say it was operating costs as well.
So this amount is for capital and retrofitting the spaces.
Okay.
And then we're looking at operating costs as well.
Okay. May I ask why we would have operating costs if we're going to use a community partner to run our daycares?
So that's something we're still looking at. A couple ways, sort of depends on how we get there. We could simply enter into a space lease agreement with a partner, provide the service, and then they would collect any fees directly, cut us out. That might be the preferable way to go. So that would remove us from needing to allocate operating costs that we would outsource the service anyway.
Right.
So we think we're still figuring exactly out how that flow would look for funding. But it could just simply be that we're just entering into a lease agreement with the agency to provide the service.
Yeah, I think we're early on developing the RFP process and all of that, how involved or not we will be in the operating of the daycare. So that's to be determined.
That's fair. I know that part of the excitement when we've talked about it, whether it was in 2022 as a big goal that we had set to now, when we've talked about it with the city, part of the enthusiasm for funding was, it's just capital, though it's not always just capital. But there is some, excitement about that. And so I just wanted to make sure I was speaking eloquently if we got that as a question. So I appreciate that. And I also wanted to make sure this initial build out would also be at Hillwood, correct?
That is also to be determined. We have some historical survey data, just kind of a assessment of where the demand would be for childcare. So we have some ideas, but it's to be determined officially where this might go. But it is unlikely in the early stages for it to also be at Hillwood. Am I accurate on that?
Right, so we've looked at a few sites and just want to be clear, once we get started, we don't see it as being limited to that
Right.
one site because obviously where we're looking at where the need is, where families work and live would be a consideration for convenience. And so ideally, we would have this opportunity, multiple sites around the district.
Yes.
But again, we want to start with something initial and grow into that.
But I will say there is potential expansion space at Hillwood if we decide to go that direction.
Okay, thank you. On the kindergarten fair and preview day, may we be informed of when those are? I would like to attend one. And if you have sent that to us, I apologize for missing it. But it sounds like a great experience. I appreciate the buses included. Touch a bus and touch a truck experiences are always exciting for young children, but particularly with school bus safety, and if we want to say school bus etiquette, that's an important lesson to be just starting to be acquainted with. So I appreciate that it's not just a classroom in the school, which of course is an important part of it, but as we like to say here on the board, our bus drivers are typically the first people that our students become aware of and come in contact with. So I think that's a wise, strategic and learning opportunity. So thank you for doing that. I like that you guys are including people into the parent portal and doing those registrations. I bet that has helped with continuation of usage as they get into kindergarten. I want to make sure I understood. They're not using that in pre-K. They're signing up to use it in kindergarten. There's not information for them there in pre-K. The newsletter and the other things are outside of that.
So for pre-K, they're using it to be able to have that seamless registration into K.
Okay.
And then they're also able to see attendance, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
I'll leave it there.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure as the portal grows and its capabilities grow, so will what parents can see. But at this time.
Yeah, I was just going to add, it's moving away from we were having, and this is years back, we were having families enroll and register in pre-K and then enroll and register again in kindergarten.
Yep.
And so this has allowed us to have a more seamless process that once you go through the registration process in pre-K, you're therefore in our system and then you can easily go in and update, be rolled up to your school, so on and so forth. So it was really from a support perspective for our families to maximize the accuracy and the number of times, the frequency they had to go in and re-enroll.
That's wise. That's wise. For the pre-K expansion strategy update and creating an early learning hub, that sounds exciting. I know that it was mentioned, that's on slide 14, that MNPS students may be able to work with inside that early learning hub. Do we have an academy that matches along with that, or is that simply students that are interested and maybe self-appoint themselves? Have I missed that we have that academy somehow?
We have teaching as a profession.
Right, at
in
Antioch.
several of our high schools.
in
And
White
so,
Creek now, that's right.
yeah, so students in that pathway would be a great opportunity for them to pursue this, particularly if it's early childhood that they're interested in.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm glad that Hillwood, if we're able to get the capital funding, I think it is the right thing to do for not just Nashville, but it is a shame that it's the only quadrant currently that doesn't have an early childhood center or ECTs, and I think it's the wise thing to do. I appreciate that. You gave us a percentage, and I missed it on slide 12, of a ratio of class for a group of 20. I think it was our students of IEPs versus general classroom students. Can you retell me that percentage? I apologize.
So for our access for all classrooms, we
Yes.
have in a classroom of 20, It's a gen ed classroom, 16 gen ed students and 4 students with IEPs.
Okay. Okay. How many, are any of our Access for All classrooms, are they grant funded or are they all funded through our budget?
So our Access for All classrooms, they are all, most of them are locally funded through our budget, but we do have a few sites that are state funded. They're
Okay.
VPK classrooms.
Okay. Okay.
Just for some additional context, we have had historically 3 types of classrooms. We've had self-contained for students with the most intense needs. We've had blended, which would serve 8 students with IEPs and 8 gen ed students. And then we had the gen ed classroom. And essentially, we're moving to maybe a 2 classroom model where we just have gen ed classrooms and students with IEPs are there, self-contained still being a service that we provide for students that need that.
Okay.
So essentially shifting our model, and that's allowed us to be budget neutral in the sense that we, instead of having, say, a blended classroom and a gen ed classroom at a school, we just have 2 gen ed classrooms at a school.
I think that would be really help with enrollment. As a parent that tried to enroll their twins into pre-K, it became difficult with one with an IEP and one with the other, and there were not, because they were grant focused at that school, it was hard to get into one and the other one couldn't get in, and it became difficult. So that's wise as a streamline as well, and for usability and accountability, all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for sticking through with all of my I'm excited questions. The diaper bag is real cute. I think we all agreed. I'm not surprised that PNC is your grant funder. That makes sense. That's their foundation focus is early childhood. Is the grant just for this year, or are we still going to have those passed this year?
Yes, so there are 2 initial funding sources, and we're always looking for other ways.
Okay.
PNC was the first. We also included this in our Model Schools grant with the State Department.
That's what she mentioned.
Right.
Thank you.
And so constantly looking for other opportunities to fund these.
Okay. Are we allowed to partner with, the library has a new early childhood reader program where they're trying to get families to come in and get library cards earlier for their children to get them access to books. Are we allowed to partner with the library on that? Is that an option?
Yes, so the initial strategy here wasn't for us to try to saturate the entire city with all of these services. We've worked closely with our community partners to really determine who's doing what so that we're not duplicating services and programs. So a lot of this you will see partnership opportunities where if they're providing that, then we'll connect, we'll share out the information, we'll share the resources, and vice versa. They'll send families to us for other supports that we're providing.
I mean, that specific example makes a lot of sense for the newsletter and maybe the text as they get into P3 and P4. But, okay, so I appreciate that there's some overlap between the 2. And I believe that's it. I want to say it is still a great loss without Phyllis. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Member O'Hara Block.
I just had while we're on this slide, an overall question about enrollment broadly. So this talks about the number of students served in these classrooms, but can you just talk a little bit about what the enrollment looks like in pre-K broadly, and then are we seeing an expansion of enrollment? How do we figure out then where we're targeting our own expansion based on that?
Okay, so at the end of last year, we ended with 3,168 students enrolled in pre-K. And currently, as of March 7th, I believe, we're on track. We have 3,080. And we had a few more students that enrolled after spring break. So we will enroll students in our gen ed classrooms up through the last 20 days of school. And then our students who go through the IEP testing process, they can enroll up to the last day of school. Once students are tested and parents determine that they want the services, we provide a place for them to be able to get those services.
Thank you. And also I'm really excited to see new pre-K classrooms at Percy Priest, and in addition to the other classrooms we've had available in the Hillsborough cluster. I think it'll be a great addition. So thanks.
Member Elwad.
Sorry, I did have one more question. Under the aspirational budget, when we had our budget committee meeting, there was an item underneath aspirational budget for Grow Together with MNPS for $0.3 million. Do we know what that is? So we can speak to that. And if you don't know that, that's okay. You can get back to me. That's fine. That's okay. That's okay. That was just a connection I quickly made. So I appreciate you letting me come back to that question. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Nabhan-Kinney.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this presentation. And I'm really excited that we're expanding in the pre-K space and really investing or beginning to look at investment in the 0 through 3 space. I think it'll be critically important as we look at the trajectory through post-secondary. I do have a couple of questions maybe, and if you don't have the answers, if you could just get back with me. When we look at the ratios for that 0 to 3 space, are we following along DHS or DOE related to those regulations and what it will look like? And then the second question combined after that is, I know the state has talked a lot about funding around the expansion of early childhood centers. Is there a way for MNPS to tap into any of that funding to help with capital or operating costs as it relates to the early childhood space?
All right, so first question. We looked at the compliance ratios for the Department of Education. They currently are our licensing agency for all of our 180 classrooms across the district in pre-K. So those ratios and those numbers came from their rules and regulations for us to follow those. And then, can you repeat the second question?
Funding from the state as it relates to the early childhood space.
So in our planning stages, we're taking into consideration different funding sources. So that is something that we'll continue to look at. So we don't have an answer to that question right now. We just initially started looking to see where those funds could come from. We know that we need to have, an influx of capital funds to at least get off the ground and running, but then we'll come back. Our committee will come back and take a look at it as well.
Thank you.
Any, Member Mays.
Just really a quick question. Do you currently have an idea of what the number of children on the wait list in Southeast Nashville? For pre-K specifically?
So not at this moment. We have one that was as of January that I have access to, but we, families apply every day. And so we can get those current wait list numbers for those 2 clusters in the Southeast for you.
Thank you.
Member Fain.
Question. Is there a waiting list based on like space, or is it just overall like hiring the staff to support, or are we just looking at space? Like, where is the waiting list accumulated from?
We're looking at capacity of the classroom. So none of our classrooms can go over 20 except for Montessori because they're multi-aged. But our waiting list is dependent upon how many students can go into a particular classroom. And the southeast part of the city has our highest wait list.
So it's seats against registrations.
So it's space. Like, we don't have the classroom
Or
space
the money or the staff. I mean, it's
a new, okay, because I was like, just coming from a previous meeting that I had with MHD, they're going to be doing like support hubs in some of their housing development agencies, and some of these support hubs may provide like tutoring and different access to like some of those pre-K early development childhood programming. So I was like, that could be like a good partnership because they're actually going to have spacing. They're going to go in and like actually renovate some of the homes, knock down the walls and open up and create like different spacing. So that's why I was asking, is it a space issue or is it just we don't have,
It's probably more of a funding issue. I think my team would agree. We would be an advocate for universal pre-K, but you've got to have the funding to do so. You've got to have the space to do so. You've got to have the staffing. So it's a multifaceted, kind of plan that you have to create. If I believe if the funding was there, we would expand as quickly as we could, given the demand in each quadrant, because you do have to make sure that the wait list or the need is being met within the respective communities.
Okay, thank you.
Member Nambal Kinney.
I just have a quick question. I think I know, but I just want to ask around teacher certification for pre-K. Are we seeing a challenge with getting certified teachers in that space? Or do we have a pipeline in place to support it? Kind of where are we in that space to be able to support pre-K?
I am so glad you asked that question. So our exceptional education department received a grant, and part of those grant funds, we have a pipeline of teachers who are able to attend classes and receive certification through David Lipscomb. And in return, their fees are paid, their practice tests are paid, and in return, they agree to come back and teach in MNPS for a certain amount of years. And so right now we have, I want to say it's 3 cohorts, and David Lipscomb, after they take so many classes, they're able to get a license to where they can teach in pre-K while finishing up their practice test and their licensure. And then when finished, they will be dually licensed in early childhood. So they could teach an exceptional ed class, or they can teach a gen ed class. So we want them to teach, whatever class that, their hearts desire. But having that integrated early childhood license is really going to be a game changer to help fill some of the vacancies.
And I serve on the state's teacher pipeline committee, and this is an area where they are creating some additional flexibilities moving forward, given the growth, particularly in pre-K and all the requirements that are there.
So thank you for that, and I'm so glad to see that that's happening. Do you anticipate them rolling it back also to the 0 through 3 space, or will we not have to worry about that in that space?
No, they don't have
No
oversight
conversation,
of these two conversations are very different when you're talking about early childhood versus the certifications required in the pre-K-12 space.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate your presentation and all the good information that you gave to us.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Lori. She was one of our 30-year employees that was recognized in the county.
Proud employee of MNPS.
Thank you for serving us. If the board will grant me, I'm going to insert chair's privilege here. The Dinkins family have to leave, but I want to move up the vote so we can mark this occasion while they have been very patiently waiting for us to vote on this. So may I have a motion to rename Brick Church Middle to Judge Dinkins?
So moved.
Moved by member Taylor, second by member Mays. I just personally want to make sure we mark this time in history. I had the privilege of knowing your father, being in the political arena, and he was a very special jurist. I've actually seen him in the courtroom, believe it or not, monitoring a lawsuit that was working through a system. And he was always the standard which I used when I've recruited other judicial candidates, that I judge their ability and their passion to what your father's legacy was in the Tennessee law, but in Nashville law. But more importantly, what he did for the desegregation of metro schools. We would not be here today if it wasn't for your father, the long and tedious and historic nature of his work. And probably innovative nature of the work, too. I think it's very important that we mark that. I think it's apropos that we're actually starting learning together, because he was always looking toward the future. And the fact that we had a presentation regarding kids from 0 to 3, I think is divine intervention of saying this is what his legacy and purpose was, that the desegregation was not only for the current students, but the students of the future. And that the fact that we have achieved what we have in metro schools and being a majority district, that was of your father's doing. And we would not be the awesome school district that we were with the diversity of kids and more importantly, the success from those kids would not have happened without your father. So I just want to take this time and just actually mark and thank you for your father's legacy and for what he has done in the judicial arena, on the state level and on the local level, but more importantly, what he done for Metro schools. And it's an honor and a joy. When I heard that his name was recommended, I actually did a little yell and cheer for that. And so I just want to make sure that you knew from the board perspective of why this is so important that we're naming the school after your father in this time and under this era. I want to give it to Member Taylor to talk about the committee report for the naming of the school.
Thank you, Board Member Player. I had the pleasure of chairing the renaming committee this evening, and just to briefly give the report, the recommendation was unanimous to change the name of Brick Church Middle School to the Richard H. Dinkins Middle School in Nashville. And so I want to thank my fellow board members for their support in voting for this, and I'm going to turn it back over to Chair Player.
Thank you, sir. Now I hand over to Dr. Battle.
All right. I also want to take an opportunity and acknowledge our executive principal who will be leading this transition from Brick Church Middle School to our Judge Richard H. Dinkins Middle School, and that is Principal Robin Beard Tillman. If you could please stand and be recognized so that we can acknowledge you and thank you. She has been phenomenal in this process, and we're excited about what's happening in the school community. So thank you, Principal Tillman. I don't want to put you all on the spot, but we do want to offer you an opportunity if you would like to share anything or any remarks. No pressure, but if you would like to, we would love to offer you a few moments.
I'll be brief. I see the 2-minute clock right there.
That's not for you. That's for public participation.
We just wanted to thank you all on behalf of all of us for this honor. Education was something that was really important to my dad, and he truly believed that it was at the core of a strong community, strong city, and a strong family as well. So I thank you all for this recognition. I also thank you all for the work you're doing and continuing to advance that mission. You know, it's not something that, you know, when that case ended, all right, work's done, you know, that really the work just started then. So I just want to thank all you all for all of your hard work and making sure that his legacy continues to improve, and, you know, the next generation will have spoiling after them one day, you know. So thank you guys again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Your father was a very warm, and more importantly, he was a very down-to-earth man. If you knew him, there was no pretension. If you saw him without his robe, you wouldn't, I say this affectionately, you wouldn't know he was a judge, because he was so down-to-earth and so personable that he made everyone feel warm and welcome. So it's my privilege to have this vote happen. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. 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 Obviously, no opposed. And it passes. So Brick Church is now officially Judge Dinkins Church. Judge Dinkins School, sorry. Yay. Awesome time. Thank you. Now we'll have Mr. Surface come up for public participation. And thank you for your patience, Mr. Surface.
Thank you. I didn't see it on the agenda, so I wasn't real sure. Yes. Good evening, board members, Dr. Battle. My name is Tom Surface. I'm in District 8, Aaron O'Hara Blocks District. I am a proud parent of 2 MNS grads. I taught math briefly at Overton High School, and I co-chair NOAA's Education Task Force. So I first want to congratulate you all on the success that we're seeing, the great progress that is making, I want to congratulate the board and administration for the good leadership. So thank you for that. But I wanted to talk about the budget very quick because I know that's happening. Budget next year. NOAA has thousands of members in our community, and we will advocate for full funding of public education. So we are on your side, and we are ready to contact the mayor at the appropriate time, the council at the appropriate time as well, in support of fully funding the budget. There's a couple things I want to promote. We support full and expanded funding of wraparound services, including Community Achieves, Family Resource Centers, and so on. We support fully funding and expanding the Peace Centers, Advocacy Centers, restorative practice programs, and hope that those will be fully implemented across the district. And so, as I say, we'll see you tomorrow at the public meeting, and we're looking forward to getting more details about what's going to be proposed, and we will be there to advocate for those as we go. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, moved by Member Vice Chair Nabalagini, second by Member Fain. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda passes. We'll now move on to board reports. We will start with the SCOPE conference, and School Board Member Nguyen is going to present.
All right, thank you, Chair. So on the Tuesday of the spring break, I attended the Tennessee School Board Association SCOPE Conference. So I believe that stands for Student Leadership something. But it was at Belmont University. So we had the honor of being able to see that conference, their dining hall, explore a little bit. But overall, I had a lot of fun. I'm sad Christine wasn't able to be there, but I got to work with a very diverse group of students. So similar to how you guys kind of work with those school board members. For TBSA, they brought their students from all across Tennessee, so a lot of also students from rural areas, so that was a refreshing perspective. So the conference ranged from issues that came from lengthening the amount of school days to zero tolerance policies, so we got the cards on that before, and my debate was on extending the school year from being 180 days to 200 days. So I actually served as my group leader. So I went on to present our argument onto the stage. And then I also was a conference officer candidate. So yeah, we simulated a board meeting kind of within the first period of the day. And then we went to lunch. And then we had the grand session. And then board member Mays would be happy to share pictures of that. So I had a blast. I think it was a lot of fun. And I'm excited to hopefully attend next year as well.
And just one quick thing to add. She was, I had several school board members come to me and say how impressed they were with her. She did a phenomenal job at the conference. So thank you for representing Metro Schools.
It's like, of course she's the best. Now we'll have Day on the Hill by Member Mays.
Oh, yeah. So just a quick thank you to my school board colleagues for joining us, and for parents from, I think it was Rosebank, wasn't it? Rosebank Elementary School. We had a couple of parents that joined us for the Day on the Hill. It was a good day, and it was an exclamation point because it was my birthday and I got to hang out with all my friends. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this day was that we had some very intentional conversations with legislators. And interestingly enough, I saw just yesterday, the Tennessee Holler had a post speaking to Representative White, where he actually talked about how he voted no on the bill to refuse enrollment for students. And he said the primary reason that he did that was because he had conversations about that vote instead of having folks yell at him and scream at him. And I just, in my own mind, I just decided that that was because we were in his office and we were having those conversations. So it is very important. I want folks to understand it's very important to have those conversations with legislators. And it could change someone's mind. So whether or not that's accurate, I'm just going to say it was us. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for providing some time in your day to spend on Capitol Hill, hopefully, well, not hopefully, but advocating for all of our children. It was a really good day. Of course, there are those knuckleheads, but it was a really good day overall, and I'm very thankful for my colleagues for being there. So thank you.
Thank you. We will have the legal conference report.
So this past weekend, Dr. Obama Kinney and I attended the Council of Great City Schools Legislative and Legal and Policy Conference in DC. So Council of Great City Schools is an organization that represents 78 of the nation's largest urban public school districts. We were there with, I'd say, like around 150 superintendents, staff, school board members from a host of those districts. We had the opportunity to spend, I think, some good time with people from Atlanta, Charlotte, Birmingham, Newark, Durham, Phoenix, LA, DC, all over the country, and talk about some of the issues that those folks are experiencing, some things we're experiencing, good strategies that people have. The conference itself covered a number of different issues that we are all experiencing right now. So we spent some time talking about challenging state legislation. So we talked about we spent a lot of time both hearing about and then being asked about and getting feedback on, in particular, the legislation that would look to challenge Plyler v. Doe and the ability of immigrant students, undocumented students, to attend public school. There was a lot of conversation around that. We also had the opportunity to learn and hear from folks on research and strategies to support students. So all different types of students and to hear the type of research that is being done both by the council and also by other folks. And they talked a little bit about some of the NAEP findings and the things, the sort of success that we've been having. And we received some positive feedback on that. And then we spent a lot of time talking about current federal challenges. So obviously, the reduction in force at the Department of Education, the executive order to shutter the Department of Education as best the administration can without the support of Congress. And then they're hoping with the support of Congress. We talked a lot about title funding, about continuing resolutions, about budgets. One thing that was news for me that I think we all need to be aware of is the potential of the ability of Medicare and Medicaid cuts to actually really harm our budget from a district perspective. And then we talked, they also presented a number of different things on court cases, court strategies. I think one thing there is just, in addition to thinking about all the things we need from a budgetary perspective, I think it's inevitable that over the next couple of years, we're probably going to need additional legal support. And the legal offices for the city are probably going to need a lot more funding because there are going to be significant, not just legal challenges, but also just paying attention to the number of lawsuits that are going on and the way in which that can impact the district. So I'm not going to lie, it was a little depressing. Berthina and I had a great time, but it was definitely, was sobering. At the same time, I think a couple of big takeaways, and I think we're both happy to share things that we learned, but the Council of Great City Schools offers great services for us. And so, to the extent that we as board members, in addition to Dr. Battle and her staff, need information about what's happening federally or connections to folks in other places that are experiencing similar types of things, they're a great organization for that. And then the second thing that was awesome is just the thing that you all have heard previously when Berthina and others have gone to these conferences. Like everywhere we went, people were like, "Oh, you're from Nashville? we love the team in Nashville. Dr. Battle's fantastic and her team's so great. And it was a lot of like, no, you don't know them. It's cool from us. So anyway, there's a lot to be paying attention to, obviously, from a federal perspective. And yeah, fingers crossed. But they're going to do the work for us. So that's good.
Thank you very much. Budget Committee?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. We had a budget committee meeting today where we discussed the proposed FY26 budget and went into detail about that. I invite everyone who did not make it to that meeting to pull up the video on YouTube under the MNPS Metro Government website where you'll be able to review what we discussed in the budget. Also want to invite you to the community budget meeting that we will host tomorrow, 5:30 in the Wellness Center. Right? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Be no further business. This meeting's adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.